All right, hello. Here is the second video of the 5-video arm series. So, of course, we're just going to get right into it. So, make sure you have everything. Make sure you do a little warm up. And here is your first preview. It is a palms facing in front raise. So, your core is going to remain strong. You're going to bring the wrists and therefore the weights up to shoulder height and slowly lower back down. 3, 2, 1, begin. If you find yourself swaying back and forth, step one foot in front of the other to widen your stance. And then breathe deeply. Focus on the movement, the core engagement, the sensation in your shoulders. Just try to keep your mind in your body and not elsewhere. Almost done. Here we go. Tricep extension. Here's the preview. Elbows stay along the sides of the body. Core strong. Flat back. And send the weights towards the back wall. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Begin. You may need to adjust your weights from the last exercise. Perfectly fine. Do what you can. If it's hard to stay still and stable by doing both arms at the same time, feel free to split this one up, sending one hand back at a time. Already almost done here. All right, another preview. We have one weight in our hands. We're bringing it up overhead, dropping it behind our head for a tricep extension and lowering it back down. See that I staggered my stance here because I was swaying a little bit. All right, and begin. Bring the weight all the way up overhead. Keep the shoulders plugged in, away from the ears. And when you lower the weight behind your head, keep your elbows over your shoulders, your biceps alongside your ears. And then slowly lower it back down. This is the last move of this set, and then we're starting our second set with another 3 moves. And after we do all of our sets, we're going to repeat them from the beginning. Almost done. Slow and steady. Focusing on how you're feeling, what you're feeling, and where. 2 more. Here's a little 10-second break for you, and then there'll be another preview on the screen. Here comes your preview in 3, 2, 1. From here, just shoulder taps, bringing opposite hand to opposite shoulder while in a plank. Feel free to lower one knee or both, and here we go. Begin. After this, we will be doing a tricep push-up. So be prepared to come down to your knees if need be. In 3, 2, 1. Here's the preview. Elbows stay tucked in towards the sides. Lowering your chest down, pressing through the palms to come back up with a strong core. End of preview. Here we go. Almost there. From here, we have a down dog to a side plank next. But there shall be a preview, so never worry. Almost done with those tricep push-ups. I know. Well, at least for me, they were getting hard. All right, come to plank. Exhale to downward facing dog. Send your heels to the right so you're on the outside of your right foot, inside of your left foot, coming into a side plank. This is just a preview. Don't worry about keeping pace at the moment. We're going to do one side and then the other from down dog to plank. Here's the end of your preview. And begin. Core strong. Press into the hand that's connected to the mat still or to the ground still. If this is a little too much, feel free to just hold a side plank. Almost there, and then we switch sides. Hold here. Almost done. Excellent. Switching sides with a little hold at the end. Same cues here. Strong core, strong legs. Press the ground away. Focus on the sensation you're experiencing as you're doing these movements. Doing your best to keep your mind in your body. Almost there. Coming into that hold in 2 more reps. Here we go. Holding, holding. And then we have a 10-second break before we start our third set. Go ahead and lower your knees, and we'll meet in a standing position for the next move. It'll be a raise with the palms facing the ceiling on an angle, so not in line with the shoulders. Here we go. Here's the preview. Weights facing up, palms facing up. Slight bend in the elbows. End of preview in 3, 2, 1, and begin. Keep your head stacked over your heart so your spine is in a nice alignment here. Core strong. Option to stagger your stance, having one foot in front of the other. Excellent. Another version of a tricep extension. Here's the preview. Palms facing towards your chest when the weight is close to your chest. Facing the ground as you extend back. Here we go. End of preview. Just targeting a different area of the tricep by switching the grip that you are using. You can do this for a lot of moves. Front raises, bicep curls. You just shift where your palms are facing, and you have a whole new exercise. All right, and here is the preview for the next move. Keeping the elbow over the shoulder, dropping the weight behind the head, core strong. I'm doing so kneeling, kind of just because of the angle of the camera, but after this, we're just going to do the other side, and then that completes this set. We have one final set after this, and then we repeat the sets. All right, here's your break. And up next, you will see a preview of the first move of our last set. Go ahead and take a look. we have shoulder presses. Starting out with your elbows in line with your shoulders, 90-degree bend at the elbows, press up towards the ceiling, lower back down, and repeat. The preview will be ending in 3, 2, and that was a long 2, and 1. All right, here we go. Here's the beginning of the move. 10 repetitions, or whatever feels best for you. If you can do more than 10 with ease, I recommend upping your weight. When you kneel during these exercises, though I'm doing it just because of my camera angle, it does make it a little more challenging. So feel free to add in the kneel yourself. Core strong. Keep your head stacked over your heart. Almost done. And pulse it out. Go ahead, drop those weights, pick up a single weight, perhaps of lighterness. Here's the preview. It's a tricep kickback pulse, pulsing at the top of the range of motion. Core strong. End of preview. Here we go. Feel free to just do a regular tricep kickback if pulses aren't in your desired realm of things to do today. I don't know. Anyways, switching sides here. Almost done with this move. Up next, you'll see a preview for our next move. We have an elbow raise, keeping the wrists in line with the shoulders, lifting the weights up to the shoulders and slowly lowering back down. Here's the end of the preview, and begin. Hold for a very small microsecond at the top of the range of motion. Notice which muscles you're feeling this exercise in. Keep your core strong. Keep your head over your heart. And breathe deeply. Almost done. Excellent. Put those weights down. We're going to come to lie flat on our backs. From here, take one single weight. Here's the preview. Elbow stays over shoulder as you drop the weight to the opposite shoulder, focusing on the tricep here. Once again, go ahead and start your move. After this, we're just going to do the other side, and that's the end of it. Not forever. We're still going to go through all of these moves 2 additional times. Go ahead and switch hands if you haven't already. Almost done. Last 2. Excellent. Got a little bit of a longer break here between sets. There will be no previews this time around, given that we know all the moves now. Of course, I'll name what's coming next so you are prepared. But go ahead and get a sip of water, and we meet at the top of the mat or your space for a palms in front raise. Beginning in 3, 2, 1, palms in, wrists and weights up to shoulder height, slowly lower down with a strong core. tricep kick back in 3, 2, 1. Full overhead raise with a tricep dip with that weight in 3, 2, 1. Keeping the elbows over the shoulders when the weight is at the top of your head and then being dropped behind your head, and then slowly lowering the weight down. Core strong, stagger your feet if you are swaying back and forth. When you bring the weight up overhead, the weight is above your head, your wrists are above your elbows are above your shoulders are not shrugged up towards the ears. And then you lower the weight behind your head. Use your triceps to bring it back up over your head, and then use your shoulders to slowly lower it back down in front of you. Almost done. Quick 10-second break here. All right, starting in a plank position, wrists underneath the shoulders. Go ahead and tap opposite shoulder with opposite hand. Core strong. Try to keep the hips still. Lower the knees and beginning push-ups. Keep the elbows tucked in towards the sides. Core strong, of course. Push into the hands to come up. Focus on the muscles you're using. Feel free, of course, to try these without being on your knees. Go ahead and curl the toes under, send it back, downward facing dog, into side plank, and then down dog, and then side plank once again, same side until the reps are complete, and then we'll switch sides. And last one on this side. Hold here. Press into the ground with all aspects of your hands, not just where the wrist meets the ground. Down dog once again, and side plank other side. Almost done. And then we have that hold before we have another 10-second break. All right, last one. Here we go. Hold your side plank. Feel free to stack your feet on top of one another for added challenge, or take your top leg into the air. All right, plank, lower the knees, come to stand, and we have our 10-second break. Go ahead and pick up your weights. We'll meet in a standing position, and we have a side angled raise. So we're lifting the weights up towards the ceiling, palms facing the ceiling, lifting the weights up to shoulder height, slowly lowering down. We're not sending the weights technically in front of us or to the side, but right in the middle, 45-degree angle there. Weights don't go higher than your shoulders. Hinge at the hips, send one weight back at a time for a tricep extension. Palms facing you while the weight is in, and then as you extend the weight back, your palms will shift to face the ground. Almost done. Excellent. Come to stand. Get your smaller weight if need be for a single tricep dip. Bringing the weight overhead, wrists over shoulder, dropping the weight behind your head on an angle towards the opposite shoulder, and then lifting the weight high into the sky again. Almost done. And then we just switch sides. All right, switch sides. Almost done on this side before we get our 10-second break. All right, go ahead and lower that weight down. Here's the 10-second break. Go ahead and prep yourself for the next set by picking up your weights. All right, and we have a press. Bring your arms to cactus with your weights in your hands. Exhale, push the weights up towards the ceiling. Stack your wrists over your shoulders and return back down to cactus. Core strong. Again, I am kneeling simply because of my camera angle. If I were standing, you would be able to see my hands when I lift the weights up. However, if you'd like an added challenge, feel free to kneel as well. And lower the weights down. Here we go for a tricep kickback pulse. Going to the full range of motion, and then in a few inches, and then back to the full range of motion. And here we go, switch sides. Excellent. Up next, we have our elbow raise. Bring the weights in your hands in front of you, in line with your shoulders. Lift the weights up towards your shoulders as you bend your elbows and lower them back down. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. No shrugging of the shoulders. Lowering the weights down once again. Coming on to your back for that single tricep extension. Keeping the elbow stacked over the shoulder, but lowering the weight towards the opposite shoulder before extending the weight back up toward the ceiling. Almost done with this side. And switch sides. And then this will complete round 2 of everything. And we have to do it one more time, and then you are done with this workout. All right, here we have a longer break before we go into our third and final round of all of these moves. Grab some water, set up your weights so that they are easily accessible once again, and take some long, slow, deep breaths. about 30 more seconds, and then we're going to get started with those front raises. All right, go ahead and pick up your weights. Meet me at the top of your space. Palms facing you, arms along the sides of the body, and lift the weights up to shoulder height. Micro bend in the elbow and lower the weights back down. Core strong. If you find yourself swaying too much back and forth, stagger your feet. All right, hinge at the hips, tricep kickbacks, keeping the elbows alongside the body, pushing the weights back towards the wall behind you, focusing on the back of the upper arm as you do so. Almost done with these. All right, one weight in hand. Lift the weight over your head, drop it behind your head, back over your head, and then slowly lower down to its starting position. Last one. And 10-second rest until we go into our second set of this last round of moves. Get ready for shoulder taps. Coming into plank. Tapping opposite hand to opposite shoulder. Moving on to push-ups on your knees or on your toes. These are tricep focused push-ups, and so our hands are narrow. When we lower down, the hands are in line with our ribs, pushing into the palms, focusing on the triceps to come back up. Keep your core strong. Transitioning into side plank, entering down dog, and then rolling on to the sides of your feet as you enter side plank, taking your opposite arm that isn't supporting you and reaching it up towards the ceiling or just up in some manner. Holding in side plank. And opposite side. Almost at the hold. Hold here. And lower down. Last 10-second break before we go into our last moves. Angled front raises, palms facing the ceiling. Arms don't go out in front or towards the sides, but right in the middle at a 45-degree angle. Micro bend in the elbow. Hinge over, so different version of a tricep kickback, one arm at a time, palms facing in. Almost done. And then we do the behind the head extension. Excellent. Lower the weights down. Grab one weight. Extending your arm above you and then dropping it behind your head. And drop the weight completely. Last 10-second break this time for sure before our last set. Getting ready for those overhead presses. Standing or kneeling, bring your arms to cactus and then press the weights up towards the ceiling and lower back down. Almost at our pulse. Here we go. Begin to pulse it out. And lower the weights down. One weight at a time. Come into a tabletop position. Extend and pulse at the top of the range of motion. Switching arms. Getting ready for our elbow raise. Come onto your knees or standing, lifting the weights towards your elbows. On your knees or standing, start with the weights in front of you, lift them up to your shoulders. Lift them up towards your shoulders and then slowly lower them back down, bending at the elbows. No need at all to bring them higher than your shoulders. Few more. And then lower down to the ground, onto your back for that single arm extension. So elbow stacked over shoulder, dropping the weight in towards the opposite shoulder, and then extending the weight back up towards the ceiling. Almost done with this side. Switching sides. Almost done completely. And this was your shoulder and tricep exercise. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.